worker at the far end. She was already there when I arrived, standing with her back to the tracks in that gray wool coat, watching the entrance. I told her what I was going to do. I also told her what I wasn't. No testimony, not yet. My name stays off the filing. She listened without interrupting, which I had come to understand was how she listened to everything. When I finished, she said, "The file moving is enough to restart the inquiry." Not thank you, just that, as if gratitude was a currency she'd stopped spending. She didn't look back. That's what I remember most. She turned, walked the length of the platform, and disappeared through the far exit without once turning around, while behind her a train pulled in and passengers flooded off, and the whole ordinary machine of the morning resumed. I stood there for another 30 seconds. I don't know exactly what I was waiting for. Some signal that the right thing and the safe thing had briefly been the same thing. I didn't get one. I picked up my bag and joined the crowd heading for the stairs. Just another person moving through a transit hub at dawn, carrying nothing visible. The public library on Crestworth opens at 8. I was the third person through the door. I used a terminal in the back row, routed the submission through 2 steps I won't describe, and attached every document in a single encrypted file. Naomi's capital flow diagram, the memo with Cole's parallel capital efficiency language, the sub-account architecture from the Hargrove document layer, and a 3-page structural summary I'd written the night before using no names except the shell entity's registration number. I hit submit. I closed the browser tab. I stood up and put on my coat and walked out into the morning the same way I'd walked in. Nobody looked at me. I had been careful to make sure of that. I was at my desk by 9:15. I made coffee from the office machine, the bad kind, and I drank it standing at my station the way I always did on busy days. The floor was moving around me, keyboards, murmured calls, someone laughing near the kitchen. Cole's corner office was lit, door closed, his silhouette behind the frosted lower panel moving with unhurried purpose. Everything looked exactly the same, which meant either nothing had happened yet or the game had already moved to a level I couldn't see from the floor. Both were possible. I had learned in the last 72 hours that I could hold 2 possibilities at once and continue functioning. That was new. Priya looked up from her screen once, around 10. It was the kind of glance you'd miss if you weren't paying attention. A quarter second of eye contact across 40 feet of open floor. No expression, nothing that could be read by anyone else in the room. Then she was back at her monitor. She had understood, without my explaining it, exactly what she had and hadn't been part of. She had shown me a highlighted anomaly on a screen and let me walk away with it. That was all. I was grateful in a way I couldn't say out loud, so I didn't say anything at all, which she also seemed to understand. Cole's assistant had a neutral smile that gave away absolutely nothing. She'd been working for him for 11 years, and that smile was the product of 11 years of practice. She said he'd like to see me when I had a moment, which both of us understood meant now. I said of course, and finished the line I was typing, not because it needed finishing, but because I needed 4 more seconds inside a version of the morning where I still knew exactly what I was walking into. I saved the document. I straightened my sleeves. I picked up nothing because I had nothing left to carry. I walked the length of the floor toward Cole's office, the way you walk toward something when you have already accepted that the outcome is outside your hands. The carpet was the same carpet. The light through the windows was the same cold autumn light. Cole was visible through the glass, seated, not standing, which told me nothing. His expression as I reached the door was the one I had never been able to read in 3 years of working beside him. Still, attentive, neither warm nor cold. The expression of a man who has already decided something and is waiting to see if the room confirms it. I put my hand on the door. Information is only power if you're willing to pay what holding it costs. I had paid. What I couldn't know, what I still don't know, is whether the bill was final. When Greed walked into Cole's office that final morning, do you think Cole already knew what he'd done, or was he still testing him?